Chapter 288 The Fierce Genius Soul Engineer. The person that had blocked their path said coldly, "It's not my problem that you guys are late. Time waits for no man. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the competition." Huo Yuao smiled, a very warm smile. "All right then. Xia Dong, Xia Na, you guys can go ahead and follow his instructions. We'll make the wager. However, I hope you have the courage to stay here until the end. Mister, I'm a very stingy person, and you will have to pay with your life if I lose my money." The middle-aged man was momentarily stunned. He stared at the warm smile on Huo Yuao's face, but for some reason, he began to feel a chill run down his spine. But the sensation only lasted for an instant, and he returned to normal as he said indifferently, "You're in the Duskwater Alliance's territory. If you have the ability, my life doesn't mean anything at all." Huo Yuao nodded and said, "Very well. Show us the way." Wang Donga didn't feel very assured, but she went ahead with Nana to make the wager anyway. Huo Yuao and Iketu followed the middle-aged man that Huo Yuao had just threatened to the competition arena. They weren't qualified to participate in the competition on stage, so they were brought to two metal desks in the outer corners that belonged to participants that had already finished their part in the contest. Huo Yuao frowned and said, "You guys don't even provide materials for crafting soul tools?" The middle-aged man had just been threatened, so he shot Huo Yuao a dark look and said, "We did have some originally, but there won't be any for you because of what you said earlier. You can find your own materials since you guys are late." He turned around to leave after he finished talking, and another elderly man clothed in yellow walked over and stood behind the two of them. The other contestants were in a similar situation. "What are the rules?" Huo Yuao asked the old man in yellow. The old man pointed to a desk not far from them that was being used for the contest. "There's an hourglass over there. You guys will check the time yourselves. You have to craft a class 3 soul tool before the last grain of sand drops down in the hourglass, and you will qualify for the next round once you complete your soul tool within the stipulated time. You will be eliminated if you can't complete the task. You may begin. I will be here to watch and to ensure that you don't use finished or half-finished soul tools to cheat." Huo Yuao turned around toward Iketu, and then he looked at the metal desk that was well equipped with crafting tools. He smiled and said, "Big brother, doesn't this feel familiar?" Iketu was wearing a mask. He naturally knew that Huo Yuao was referring to their days inside the illustrious Virtue Hall, and he nodded. Huo Yuao sighed and said, "Not giving us materials is just so harsh and unkind. I have to make use of what's around me, I guess." He raised his right hand as he spoke. The old man behind him saw a dark golden flash of light before one of the steel desk's corners was lopped off. The piece was half a foot thick, and the old man also saw the 5 sharp blades that flickered with dark golden radiance that extended from Huo Yuao's right hand. The dark golden terraclaw bear was known as one of the most powerful species in the world of soul beasts. A unique and frightening aura could be felt once Huo Yuao unleashed his dark golden terraclaw. Huo Yuao flicked his claw upwards, and the metal piece flew towards Iketu. "We'll have to make do with this, big brother. All right." Iketu decided to talk as little as he could, to avoid saying the wrong things. He took the piece of metal and immediately began to work on it with a carving knife from the crafting tools that were laid out on the table. Huo Yuao didn't wait for the old man to stop him. The sharp blades flickered once more, and another piece of steel was cut off, but he took it himself this time. This is a standard desk for crafting soul tools, and every table is worth 5,000 golden soul coins. The invigilator was shaken by the dark golden terraclaw's aura for a little while. "Oh." Huo Yuao answered casually before he began to work with his right hand. 5 golden blades trembled at the same time, and it felt as if they were forming a dark golden layer of water that undulated on the metal desk's surface. Metal powder and fragments drifted down, but they didn't scatter all over the place. They actually spread around him in an orderly fashion. Huo Yuao wasn't even looking at the tough steel that he had just retrieved. He turned around towards the invigilator and asked, "Are you a soul engineer as well? What's your class?" The elderly man didn't answer his question, because he was in a complete daze at the moment. His eyes fixated upon Huo Yuao's rhythmic right hand. That was a hand that could accomplish miracles. Huo Yuao's 5 razor-sharp blades continued to move rhythmically, and the irregular piece of steel quickly became rectangular, before strange and peculiar patterns began to appear on its surface. The steel piece was subsequently split into pieces and carved. The entire process was as smooth as a flowing river. Huo Yuao's fingers seemed like they were just faintly quivering, and every movement was just so precise and accurate. Just as Huo Yuao had said, the old man in yellow was also a soul engineer, but he was only a class 3 soul engineer. In the end, breaking through 3 rings was quite a drastic change for most soul masters, and many people couldn't breach that barrier, even across an entire lifetime. This elderly man was just a class 3 soul engineer, but his eyes were quite fine. He was part of the Duskwater Alliance, and he had seen multiple high-level soul engineers craft soul tools. What Huo Yuao was doing at the moment was comparable to those high-level soul engineers. He was smooth, quick, and agile at the same time, and he was working at a speed that was almost impossible to believe. From a soul engineer's perspective, steel was a relatively standard crafting material that was also easy to carve and engrave. However, working at such rapid pace was simply unbelievable, and the old man knew that he couldn't do anything like Huo Yuao. The youth before him was going through everything so casually, and he hadn't even pulled out his carving knife. This youth was just using sharp blades from his martial soul, or perhaps from a soul skill, to craft his soul tool. The silver-white steel gradually took shape. Huo Yuao didn't use a single crafting tool from the table, but an impeccable metal tube was produced just like that. He quickly assembled, crafted, and inserted the formation arrays. Huo Yuao used the 5 sharp claws of his dark golden terraclaw to cut, drill, slice, chisel, and whatever techniques he had to use to craft his soul tool, and he only used one hand from beginning to end. Of course, there was no way he could use his other hand, even if he wanted to, but the old man didn't know that. The elderly man felt as if he wasn't watching a contest, but a performance, an incredibly spectacular performance in crafting soul tools. This process didn't continue for too long. 5 minutes. After just 5 minutes, Huo Yuao's undulating blades halted, and his body casually turned around as he signaled to the old man, who had a blank look in his eyes. "It's done." The elderly man recovered from his astonishment, and quickly stepped forward to pick up the silver-white soul tool on the desk. The silver-white metal tube was long and smooth. It was about a foot long, and there was an arm buckle beneath it, so it was most suitable for use when attached to the arm. The old man carefully infused soul power into the soul tool, and it immediately lit up. The old man gasped, as he could feel that this soul tool was consuming his soul power at an alarming rate, to the point where he couldn't control it anymore. Afterwards, he could feel the formation arrays activating themselves from the soul power compressed in them. The entire silver-white metal tube sparkled, and intense soul power immediately began to radiate out of it. He realized that there was no way for him to stop it. The contest was still ongoing at the moment, and this was the Green Hotel's Golden Hall. The invigilator didn't know what would happen if this soul tool was allowed to fire. He went a little hysterical as he exclaimed, "Quick, make it stop. Why won't it stop?" Huo Yuao smiled and said, "That's because you're not operating it in the right way." He raised his right hand as he spoke, and pressed down gently on the tube's surface. The charging and compression instantly disappeared, and the entire soul tool powered down. Huo Yuao said, "Your soul power isn't wasted. The energy gathering formation array will still maintain its activity for 2 hours, and you can fire it at any time you wish." The old man wiped the sweat from his brow and stared at Huo Yuao fearfully. "The soul tool that you have made is..." Huo Yuao grinned and said, "It's a simplified energy gathering soul cannon. It should be at least class 3, but class 4 soul engineers are typically more suited to operate something like this. It seems like you're not a class 4 soul engineer yet. The materials that I have had to retrieve on the spot were a little substandard, so this cannon can only be fired thrice. If you want to play around with it, you'll have to wait for me to complete the qualifying round. My part of the contest is over. Have I passed?" The old man's expression was entirely different from before. He handed the soul tool back to Huo Yuao respectfully and said, "Of course you have passed the qualifying round. You're the one who has crafted this soul tool. Please take it back. The soul engineers get to keep all the soul tools that they make within this competition. Of course, you can sell your productions to us if you wish." Huo Yuao replied, "I'll leave it to you then. Just treat it as compensation for damaging the table. That should be enough, right?" Yes, it's enough. A class 3 soul tool was worth about 3 to 5,000 golden soul coins, while Huo Yuao didn't destroy the entire table, so repairing the table probably wouldn't require more than 10 golden soul coins. Using a soul tool like this to compensate for the damage was more than enough. Furthermore, the crafting abilities Huo Yuao had just displayed completely astounded this invigilator. The old man asked probingly, "If I may ask, what class are you in?" Huo Yuao smiled faintly and said, "You will know eventually. However, you have to continue with your duties. You haven't seen the soul tool that my big brother is crafting yet." The old man realized that Iketu's hands had stopped moving on the other side as well, and he had also crafted another soul tool from the piece cut off from the table. The soul tool that Iketu had crafted was a broad bracelet, the kind intended for men. The old man quickly went over to check. Is this a storage-type soul tool? A storage-type soul tool crafted from steel? Oh, my goodness. That's such a waste of your abilities. The old man didn't know what else to say. He discovered after inspecting and testing the soul tool that this broad bracelet had about 5 cubic liters of storage space, and it absolutely met the criteria as a class 3 soul tool. Storage-type soul tools and milk bottles were typically considered the most complicated soul tools among others of the same tier. This storage-type soul tool was made from steel, and that meant it wouldn't be so durable, but its complexity and the difficulty of crafting something like this was the same as it would have been if another material had been used. It wasn't worth much, but the craftsmanship was undeniable. If there had been better metal available, this storage-type soul tool would be considered an exquisite item compared to other class 3 soul tools. 2 class 3 soul tools were crafted within such a short period of time. What did that mean? This meant that these 2 brothers, who had only joined the competition when it was nearing its end, were at least class 4 soul engineers. It was likely that they were even better. Could class 4 soul engineers craft soul tools with such smoothness and agility? The old man knew the answer to this question very well. The 2 of you have passed the qualifying round, and we will begin the first official round tomorrow. We will directly enter elimination rounds, and every elimination round will cut the total head count by a third, until a champion is crowned. Here, these are your proofs for passing the qualifying round. The 2 of you can use them to claim your prizes for this round. The old man passed over 2 badges made from pure gold as he spoke. There were numbers on each badge. Hua Yua's number was 71, while Iketu's number was 72. Hiketu pushed Hua Yua's wheelchair, and they departed under the old man's watchful and respectful gaze. Hey! How can it be over so quickly? Have they withdrawn from the contest because they know they can't pass? Some people were annoying and irritating, especially if they were born with a snickering and sneering face. The middle-aged man that was throwing shade at Hua Yua before this took the opportunity and popped out of nowhere. Hua Yua smiled and opened his right hand. I just want to know where I can redeem my prize. The middle-aged man noticed the golden badge in Hua Yua's hand just as he was mocking him sarcastically. He seemed like a duck that was grasped by the neck, and his voice stuck in his throat. That's impossible. How long did you guys take? You guys cheated. Hua Yua answered solemnly. You have to be responsible for your words. The old man in yellow came over hurriedly at this moment. I'm terribly sorry, my 2 honored guests. This is a misunderstanding. Hurry and apologize to them. Great King. Great King. That's a great name. Hua Yua spoke with a faint grin on his face. The middle-aged man's expression didn't look so good, and it appeared to change color again and again. He grunted coldly and turned around to leave. Don't go. There's something else I want to discuss with you. Hua Yua suddenly spoke to him. Great King was momentarily stunned. He turned around and forcefully suppressed the complicated emotions riling up his mind as he asked, what else needs to be said? Hua Yua continued. I imagine I'm going to lose the wager that I've just made. Do you remember what I said to you before this? Great King's face instantly changed. He hadn't thought too much of it when Hua Yua had threatened him before with a smile on his face, as he didn't believe that this fellow in the wheelchair could pass this round of the competition. However, the yellow-clothed old man had confirmed that the 2 brothers had both passed this round within such a short period of time. He was very clear about what this meant, even though he was arrogant, sneering, and sarcastic by nature. He wasn't a fool. He was sharply aware that Hua Yua wasn't a person that he could afford to offend, and he himself was only a soul elder after all. The contest isn't over. How do you know that you can't win the wager? Great King's voice was a little shaky and fearful. Hua Yua smiled and said, I know I can't win just by looking at your face. Are you telling me that you haven't done something to my wager? I remember I saw you walk out before this. Great King took a few steps back subconsciously. Hua Yua lowered his head instead as he muttered under his breath. My best virtue is that I always honor my word. Hua Yua suddenly looked up as he spoke, and he pushed out his right hand towards Great King. Don't do it, sir. The old man called out hastily, but he was too late in the end. Boom. A flower that resembled some of the red and white decorations around the green hotel bloomed, and Great King's head instantly split open like an exploding watermelon. Hua Yua was behaving as if he hadn't done anything at all. He wore a pitiful and regrettable expression on his face as he said, I hope you can be the king of great kings in your next life. The sudden incident immediately triggered intense and vigorous gasps of astonishment. This was one of the Duskwater Alliance's strongholds, and it was unimaginable that anybody would have the courage to murder someone in a place like this. Furthermore, this murder was executed in such a brutal and barbaric fashion. The other guests descended into hysteria, and numerous men dressed in black quickly surrounded Hua Yua. The yellow-clothed invigilator and the manager that led them from the hotel door were also part of this group. It didn't take long before they surrounded Hua Yua and Hiketu, forming a very tight circle around them. Hua Yua grunted coldly and said plainly, do all of you wish to die? Hua Yua began to chant incomprehensibly as he spoke. Hiketu took a step horizontally, and a series of metal clanging sounds could be heard as he transformed into a frightening metal fortress. Several hundred soul cannons were coldly pointing all around him, and the aura he released was so terrifying that it immediately caused the thugs that were about to close in on them to retreat in fear. Stop. What's happening? A deafening shout broke the silence. A human figure descended from the sky immediately afterwards, 3 yellow and 2 purple soul rings sparkling as this person landed in the middle of everyone. The wings from the soul tool on his back folded up. He drew a cold breath when he witnessed the soul cannon fort that Hiketu had transformed into. He was a class 5 soul engineer, and he was all too clear as to what he was looking at. He realized that even typical class 6 soul cannon forts weren't as formidable as this one in front of him. Calm down, everyone. I'm Chenin, the Golden Great Hall's supervisor. Can someone tell me what just happened? The old man that had watched Hua Yua and Hiketu came forward hurriedly and whispered something into Chenon's ear. Chenon's face turned black as he turned towards Hua Yua, and then his expression changed once more. He saw that Hua Yua's eyes were ghastly grey in color, as if there wasn't an ounce of life and vitality at all, and he felt as if his spirit was being sucked away when their gazes met. His body trembled vigorously as he took a few steps backwards in horror. However, when he looked at Hua Yua again, he realized that his eyes had become clear once more, as if everything that he had seen in the previous instant was but a hallucination. A voice suddenly appeared in his head. If you want this place to be riddled with bodies, so be it. Otherwise, you know what to do. This voice disappeared as soon as it appeared. In the next moment, a scene surfaced in his head. Chenin saw the exploding heads of the men in black around him, and he seemed to descend into a mountain of corpses and an ocean of blood. The headless corpses slowly got to their feet, and swiftly transformed into zombies as they crazily assaulted everyone around them. It didn't take long before there wasn't a single other living soul besides the terrifying youth in the wheelchair and the muscular man standing beside him. The intense fear caused Chenon's body to quiver uncontrollably, but the image that surfaced in his mind receded in an instant. His eyes widened, but all he could see were his subordinates' doubtful gazes, and the youth in the wheelchair that was still staring at him with a pair of bright and clear eyes. You are Chenin blurted. Hua Yua answered plainly. Great King went after my wager with underhanded methods, and his words were provocative and condescending. Did he bring his own death upon himself? Chenin chomped down on the tip of his tongue and instantly cleared his mind. He had outstanding composure, mental quality, and stability to be able to direct the Golden Great Hall, and his expression changed once again. This time, he was a lot more respectful than before. You're right, my dear guests. Great King violated the Duskwater Alliance's rules, and he attacked you foolishly. He has committed a crime, and he cannot be forgiven. Someone take his body away and feed his corpse to the dogs. Don't stand around. Everyone, go back and do what you're supposed to be doing. Chenin withdrew the soul rings on his body as he spoke, but he didn't dare to look Hua Yua in the eyes anymore. The Duskwater Alliance was an underground organization, and these underground organizations were sometimes much more efficient and versatile with their operations compared to other, more legitimate corporations. Chenin was the Golden Great Hall's supervisor, and he was also a relatively powerful soul king. He wielded extraordinary authority and influence in this place, and he was also the qualifying round's chief judge. His subordinates began to move right after he finished his sentence, some people moving to keep things in order, while some other people went ahead to clean up the mess. It didn't take long before Great King's body and the mess around it vanished without a trace. Chenin lowered his voice and asked Hua Yua, can we speak somewhere in private? All right. Hua Yua's answer was simple and straightforward. I have 2 other servants. Can you ask someone to call them over? I'll arrange for that immediately. Shannon whispered something to one of his subordinates, and that person hurriedly turned around and left. Follow me, my valued guests. Shannon turned around to lead the way as he spoke. Who are you? Nodded his head gently, and he pushed the wheelchair as they followed behind Shannon. Who are you? Eyes closed into squints, and his spiritual detection swiftly expanded around him and covered almost the entire place in an instant. There were several relatively formidable auras within the Golden Great Hall, but they were not enough to threaten his life. This was only the qualifying round after all, and high-level soul masters and soul engineers couldn't be found just anywhere. They weren't inside Shrek Academy, after all. Shannon led them to a small door at the side and exited the Golden Great Hall. They moved through a magnificent walkway, but they didn't have to travel for long before Shannon opened another door on the side and invited the two of them in. The room was several hundred square meters in surface area, and the walls were covered in solid wood. The room's golden style and layout was not at odds with this underground world. Please sit, Shannon spoke as he stood beside a luxurious sofa. Who are you? Answered. There's no need for that. You can just say whatever you want to. Shannon's eyes shifted as he lowered his voice and said, if I may ask, are you guys from? He paused without finishing his sentence. Who are you? Grunted coldly and said, is that something you should be asking? A peculiar aura suddenly emanated from his body, and a contorted white projection subsequently appeared before him. Shannon could vaguely tell that the white projection portrayed a human figure, but the room became a lot eerier and more sinister when it appeared. The projection was twisting and contorting vigorously, as if it was struggling against something. Who are you? Said plainly, this is the end of your life. Looks like you had it easy. Go, be purified. White light lit up in his eyes as he spoke, and the twisting light projection immediately paused and became a lot clearer than before. The Great King? Shannon exclaimed. The projection looked exactly like King Wan. The light projection shone with white light circles as it gradually dissipated, and King Wan's expression finally became one of peace and acceptance as he swiftly vanished into thin air. Shannon's face was ghastly pale at this moment, and his body quivered as well. Who are you? Said. Do you want to test me again? Shannon wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, and he bent down as he replied respectfully. No, there's no need. Who are you? Continued. You have to keep the two of us being here a secret. You can't tell anyone at all. Do you understand? The truth is we are here of our own accord, since it's nice to earn some money while claiming some rare medals for ourselves. Of course, you guys can make some money at the same time. We will only survive if we both reap benefits at the same time, don't you think? Yes, yes. Shannon hurriedly followed Who Are You's lead. Who Are You nodded and said, then you should give us what we are owed today. We will return for the next round. Shannon asked, do you need us to do anything else? Who Are You waved his hand and said, I don't need you to do anything else. What we eventually achieve in the contest is entirely up to our own abilities. You've seen what happened to King Wan. If someone else tries to mess around with me or provoke me, that person's outcome won't be as easy as what happened to King Wan. I believe most people haven't had their spirits tortured before. Whoever has to find out will probably remember the sensation on their shattered spiritual imprint for eternity. Shannon shivered involuntarily and said, don't worry, I will restrain my subordinates to the best of my ability, and I will definitely adhere to your requests. We won't pass this on within the Dustwater Alliance, and everything will go according to your command. Who Are You nodded his head satisfactorily. Looks like you're a smart one. Intelligent people tend to live longer. Thank you for the compliment, sir. Shannon's expression became a little more relaxed, but he was still radiating fear and trepidation. Who are you? Said. All right, my people have returned. We'll make a move first. Knocking sounds could be heard before he finished his sentence. The door opened, and one of Shannon's subordinates led Wang Donga and Na into the room. Wang Donga heaved a sigh of relief when she saw Who Are You in the room. Who Are You? Said to Shannon, we won't claim our money today, but we will take everything when we return. I can reveal some things to you. My brother and I are both Class 6 soul engineers, and I believe we can be considered some of the very best in this wretched place. Therefore, you can do whatever you like with the wages to make your profits, but I want my share. I don't care about the money, but those 100,000 gold and soul coins are my capital, and you will be responsible for changing my money into rare metals. The more the better. Yes, yes. Shannon acknowledged once more. All right, let's go. Wang Donga came forward hurriedly to take Who Are You's wheelchair from Hikadu's hands and began to push him outside. Who Are You raised his hand for her to stop when they were almost at the door, and he said without turning around, Shannon, if everything goes according to plan, and if you do everything properly, I will reward you after this contest is finished. If you're willing, it's even possible if you wish to become a part of us. Of course, there's a price to pay, but the returns that you shall receive will be worth a lot more. Shannon was a little taken aback, but he became elated in the next moment as he took a few brisk steps forward and knelt down with one knee beside Who Are You. Thank you for the link up, sir. I will find you again before the contest. You will collect the inventory of medals that will be used for rewards in every round, and you will also give me a list of the bets that have been placed. Yes. Who Are You waved his hand once more, and Wang Donga pushed him out at once. Shannon escorted him out personally, and he directed them all the way to a set of escalators that brought them back to one of the Green Hotel's simpler levels. All right, that's enough. You don't have to send me any further. Remember what I've told you. If my father finds out about me, you know the rest. If that happens, then you will become part of my strength. Your wish is my command. I will definitely follow your orders. Shannon acknowledged hurriedly. Let's go. Who Are You waved his hand, and the company exited the Green Hotel. Once they were past the main door, Hikaru couldn't help but ask, what were the two of you talking about so mysteriously back there? We'll talk about it when we get back, brother. Who Are You hurriedly interrupted Hikaru's words, and a voice appeared in Hikaru's head. Hikaru felt his heart skip a beat, and he quickly shut his mouth and said nothing more. The four of them gradually disappeared into the night. Who Are You relied on his invitation and brought everyone back into the brilliant Delight Hotel. His expression became a lot more relaxed, and Wang Donga helped everyone remove their makeup once they returned to his room. Hikaru said, you can speak now, little junior brother. You actually gave me a scare when you lashed out just now. Who Are You said ponderously, we didn't waste our efforts today, and I figured some things out. It's no wonder that the Academy could never find traces of the Holy Ghost Church after they appeared. It seems like they've been hiding themselves like that. Hikaru was momentarily stunned. Are you saying it's likely that the Dusk River Alliance has something to do with the Holy Ghost Church? Who Are You answered, it's not just likely. They definitely have something to do with the Holy Ghost Church. Actually, their name had already aroused my suspicions. According to Elderson's description, one of the Holy Ghost Church's most powerful individuals has a similar name. That's the reason why I had my suspicions, and the probing that I did before was also because of that. I imitated an evil soul master's abilities, and that frightened Shannon. You saw how reverent he was to me after that, and it's obvious that he believes we're from the Holy Ghost Church. That respect is also for the Holy Ghost Church, and this proves the Duskwater Alliance's connection with the Holy Ghost Church. It's no wonder that the Holy Ghost Church hid themselves so well, what with Radiant City's #1 underground organization covering them. With the Duskwater Alliance's power and influence, they are definitely one of the Holy Ghost Church's most important branches, if they aren't part of the Church's core existence. Wang Donga frowned and said, doesn't that mean it's too dangerous for us to continue on in the competition? Who Are You shook his head with a smile on his face. No, it doesn't. This contest is aimed at raking in profits, and it doesn't mean much to the Holy Ghost Church's core existence. The Church is focused on the Continental Elite Youth Soul Master Tournament. Haven't you guys seen the people that they've sent to participate in the tournament? Their energies aren't channeled toward the Duskwater Alliance, so it's natural that they aren't paying much attention to their events. We are quite safe. Furthermore, the Dusk River Alliance is ultimately one of the Church's branches, and they are just a front for earning money and covering their identities, so the Holy Ghost Church won't send high-level individuals to watch over the Alliance. The Green Hotel is quite important to the Dusk River Alliance, but the hotel supervisor is just a soul king, and he's not even an evil soul master. Wang Donga became a little more relieved as she listened to Who Are You's seamless analysis. She nodded and said, so, we're still participating in the subsequent rounds? Who Are You tilted his head and said, of course, we have to get our rare medals from this contest, and we don't even have to become champions. Isn't it fun and interesting to stir things up within Radiant City's underground organizations? Don't worry, Donga, I will make sure that I return safely, not just for myself, but also for you guys. Hikaru stood up and patted Who Are You on the shoulder. It's getting late, little junior brother. Your body isn't in good shape, so you should hurry up and get some rest. Nana also stood up to take her leave, Wang Donga helped Huo Yuao onto the bed after everyone left, and she brought some warm water to wash his hands and face. Huo Yuao's body was overflowing with ice-type origin energy of heaven and earth, so the parts of his body that were immobile didn't get dirty at all, so there was no need for her to wash those areas. You're too exhausted, Yuao. Wang Donga slipped into his embrace, and felt the chilly aura emanating from his body as she whispered to him. Huo Yuao smiled and said, the main reason why you don't want me to continue on in the competition is because you're concerned about me, right? Actually, how can you not tell how safe we are with your intelligence and our abilities? Yes, Wang Donga agreed softly. Huo Yuao said, I promise you, Donga, that I will have a good rest when we go back. I will make sure my body recovers completely before I set off to do anything else. However, our journey to Radiant City is very important to the Academy, to the Tang Sect, and even to how the continent's political backdrop is going to turn out over the next few years. I need to be at my best to deal with everything, and it's worth it even if I get a little tired in the process. Wang Donga was slightly taken aback. I understand if you say that you're doing this for the Academy and for the Tang Sect, but aren't you exaggerating a little about the continent's political situation? Huo Yuao shook his head and said, I keep feeling as if something's not right. The Sun Moon Empire has expanded the people allowed to participate in the competition, and I've been feeling a little more stifled than the last competition, as if something is about to happen. Ever since my spiritual power ascended into the concrete material realm, I've developed a sort of clairvoyance. If I'm not wrong, the Sun Moon Empire will definitely carry out some operation during or after the competition. The only problem is that I can't tell anything yet at the moment, but I'm sure they will drop clues as the tournament progresses. I'm not sure what we can do for now, but anything that's not good for the Sun Moon Empire is beneficial for us. Wang Donga nodded and replied, but your body. Huo Yuao smiled and said, you don't have to worry about my body. I have a secret weapon. Wang Donga was momentarily stunned. Secret weapon? What is it? Why don't I know about it? Huo Yuao grinned mysteriously and said, that's a secret. I'll tell you if you kiss me 10,000 times. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.